Everybody always asks me if I had one call to take to the turkey woods, what would it be? And it would definitely be a pot and peg style call. And the reason for that is the custom sound that you can get with them and the different tones, of course, you can get just by simply changing your strikers in different woods. And then, of course, there's carbon. There's all kinds of different strikers out there. As far as the surface, I really like a slate surface, and everybody refers to a circular call as a slate call, and they're not slate calls. This is actually a slate surface. There's aluminum, there's glass, there's ceramic, and we'll talk about some of those other ones, but I really like the slate surface. When you first get your call, one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rough up the surface, and for that you just need some sandpaper, and we're just going to rough up that surface, blow it away, and then I'm going to go ahead and rough up my striker a little bit. And what that does is it just promotes good contact. The next thing I want to do is I just want to get where I can make noise with the call. Don't move the slate surface and hold the peg still. What we want to do is we want to take the peg, holding it almost like a pencil, and to get a yelp, we're just going to make circles basically on the call. And based on the pressure is going to dictate how loud or how soft the calling is going to be. So with just a little bit of pressure and making some circles, if I want to get a little bit louder, if I want to cut, it's really simple to use the call. All you got to do is master the pressure. And what you want to do is just get where you're comfortable holding the call and just get where you can go right to it and produce that yelp. Cut, I just pull down quick. I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on the striker there and pulling down quickly. For a purr, I'm going to make half moon shaped circles on the call and just let it bounce across the surface. Pretty simple. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the other types of surfaces out there. Glass is another great one. For a glass surface, this is for really reaching out there. With a glass surface, I can really get loud, and I really like the sound I get with glass. And again, with glass, you're going to want to rough that up as well, but we're going to rough that up with a much grittier tape. So after we got that one roughed up, and I've already done this one here, my striker's ready to go. Same basic principle though. We're going to go for the yelp. And you can hear how that gets a little bit more tony towards the end. All I'm doing when I'm purring is I'm just making little half moon circles. Basic, same principles apply. And then we can talk about the aluminum a little bit. Aluminum can get really loud. And again, I like to rough up my aluminum. And on my aluminum, I really like a carbon striker for when I really want to crank up the volume. That's super loud. I live out west, and that's something where I really want to ring a Tom's ears and he's way out there, or on windy days, an aluminum surface works great. So what you want to do is get yourself some various pot and peg calls in different face options: aluminum, glass, slate, there's ceramic, there's so many you can go with. Get yourself some different strikers, sit down and learn how to master those calls, and just play with them until you start making some turkey sound. One of your most basic calls, and one I recommend in every turkey hunter's vest, is a box call. And a lot of guys, box calls get a bad rap because a lot of guys, well, everybody's out there with a box call. Everybody's using a box call. I can't get custom sounds with the box call. And I disagree. I think a box call is a really clear ringing call that you can customize the more you play with it and the better you get with it. One of the things I like to do with my box call when it's not in use is I just use one of my wife's hair bands, and I keep it on there so it's in my vest and pack, it's not making any sounds. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove that, and then on the inside of the call, you're going to want to chalk your paddle, and you're going to want to chalk your rail right here. So once we apply chalk to those, which I've already done, all you're going to do is just rub it on there. Then we can start playing with the call. I like to hold the paddle between my two fingers right here and get a good angle on the call, and just get a basic yelp going. If you want to cut, we're going to increase the motion and we're going to cut with the call. Pretty simple call to master. When you're done, go ahead and take your hair tie, slip it right back over the call, and that one can go right back in the vest. But you definitely need to have a box call in there, and that's one you're definitely going to want to play with a lot. Learn those custom sounds, and it just gives you another tool in your arsenal. You're going to want to have plenty of diaphragm calls as well, and I didn't save them for last because they're the least important. A diaphragm call is extremely important. And the best way to learn how to blow a diaphragm call is to get you several of them and then sit down, get them out of the package, and just start playing with them. You're going to want to decide if a stiff tape, like on this Primos call, is a better fit for you, or more of a soft tape, like on this Rocky Mountain, is a better fit for you. I like both. Either, it doesn't really matter to me, but some guys prefer one over the other. You're also going to want to play with the different cuts in the calls. This is a shipwreck cut. This is a batwing cut. There's standard double reeds. There's all kinds of different cuts on turkey calls that you're going to prefer one over the other. You're going to be able to blow one a lot better than the other. Another thing is you want to make sure that that call seats well up inside the roof of your mouth. And if it doesn't fit well, all we've got to do is trim that call down with a pair of scissors. As long as you don't get into the reeds, you're fine. I hunt a lot of public land, and this is the sound I hear more than any other on public land. A guy gets a diaphragm call in his mouth, and he feels like he's got to just whoom and run off a long series of yelps, a big run like this. And then that go, 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 go. Those turkeys get used to that. I like, a lot of times, I'll throw my call in my mouth, and I might just make a couple yelps. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to produce really long runs, especially when you're just learning how to use the call. Learn how to make a yelp, and then you can start putting some runs together that include a few cuts. But get those calls, practice with them, and learn how to use them, learn how to make turkey sounds with them. Another thing about the diaphragm is it allows for that hands-free operation, so that when you're using your bow or your shotgun, you can't use a box call or a pot and peg call. So being able to run a diaphragm when that bird's in close and you're up on the bow or on the shotgun is really important. Another thing I really like about the diaphragm is I like to use it in combo with one of my pot and peg calls so that I can sound like multiple birds. Using those two in tandem, you can sound like different hens going back and forth and really get that gobbler fired up.